All right. I was fixing to say good morning, Panther fans, but it's only morning. It's not morning anymore if you're not on the East Coast. I think no, it's still morning if you're not on the East Coast. Oh man, how is everybody doing this morning? Boy, oh boy, we had our fair share of action around here this morning, as you guys are here on the podcast. Fluffy is he's on IR. He's limping and gimping around today a little bit. I don't know what he did, but so we did not make it to the river today. He's laying here in front of me. He's okay. Nothing to worry about. Hey, good morning, Darius. How you doing? Bubba Ruski. Yeah, I'm here. We're good. What was I? A minute late? Yeah. Hey, Sean. How you doing? Yeah, this was easier. This was I didn't even crawl out of bed till about 7:30. So, that is what it was what it is, man. I'm surprised I didn't need a nap, but I guess I'm so worried with Fluffy gimping around a little bit that that's keeping me awake. Hey, Vincent, how you doing? Hey, Jeff, I'm here, Vincent. Yeah. Nick says I'm not normally awake for these. Yeah, I can understand that. I think some of the times Stu and I used to record before 8 o'clock, so I completely understand. So what's that noise? Oh, okay. I thought Fluffy's stomach was growling, but I live not too far from Aberdeen Proving Grounds, and I guess they're blowing big things up today because I can hear it from here. Taylor says, "Good afternoon, Jaws. Fantastic game last night. Want to give shout out to my brother, Mr. Sweet, for showing me this awesome channel of yours. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate everybody spreading around the word. That's how we grow. So we finally won in Vegas. Finally. And I know that, this would have been nice, maybe game 2, game 5, especially, right? I mean, we was all hoping and thinking and praying and crossing our fingers, when we were down 3-1 that we can do what we did last night. But broken sternums and all, it's tough to do it's tough to do. Sean. Vincent, yeah, the expressions of Jaws. Yep, that's pretty much it. Let's see. It's he's hangry, fierce, calm. There's actually 3 rows. So it's hangry, fierce, calm, sad, happy, tired, and then excited, seasick, and agitated. So my daughter got that one for me. It's one of my favorite shirts. Let's see. Um, Bubba says you told Maurice Barkov needs to be traded. Yeah, as soon as Barkov went out, we looked good. I don't understand. Everybody picked it up last night. I mean, you could kind of see it. Everybody kind of looked around and said, "We're down 2/3 of the top line," and Chucky definitely put that team. I'm not gonna say he put it on his back because Reinhardt, Verhage, everybody played well, but hopefully that is permanent. You know what I mean? Hopefully, Kachuk is just going to go back to being Chucky, and that's going to be that. Sean says, I was worried after 5 minutes. Thought we were going to get down. Yeah, it could have been 3-0 early if it wasn't for Bubba. Bubba kept us in that game early. No doubt. No doubt. Bubba says, remember last year when everyone thought Bennett was going to get traded? It's, you talk about Lundell future 1C. I mean, I don't know. I talked about that a little bit on the podcast today. It's like, as long as we re-sign Bennett, Lundell is 3C for however long, right? And that's okay. That's okay. We've got a good team. They're still young with it, so we've got a big window here, right? Sean says, how much does Bob's contract? No, we're gonna extend Bob. Give him an extra 2 years at $5 million per, right? So Darius says, can Cousins come back at all after Ryan Lomberg's game last night? And yeah, his first period saves were phenomenal. Oh, Ryan. John says breaking news: Reinhardt scored again. He scored in his sleep. I would. I wouldn't doubt it. And Darius, yeah. When I said it in the recap, when I first saw that Lomberg was there, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Because in the past, Maurice had put Lockwood there. And, like when Mahura got sick and then Ekblad Montour came back, Mahura hasn't had his job back. We need Lomberg to score. If we really want that change to be kind of permanent, I still think they're going to go out and get a guy in free agency. But if we want Maurice to keep Lomberg there instead of Cousins, he's going to have to get a goal. We've seen Maurice, I think it was last year, he gave him some time in the top 6 when we were done, when we were so down with injuries. So I know Maurice likes the guy. Hey, Ghost, how you doing, bud? Hey, Frank, good morning. Petrarch wants to, did I see the Bruins lose to the Penguins? I mean, I saw the score, but that was happening during the Panther game. But yeah, we're 2 points out. We're 2 points out. Sean says, Lockwood's growing on me. He's like a young Lomberg. Very similar. Doesn't have the hair. Doesn't have the hair. I think Lomberg's actually 30 or going to be 30. He needs a contract as well. But yeah, we have a plethora of those kind of guys, no doubt. Jeff wants to know, when do you think we're going to pay Reinhardt? Well, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I know what I want. What I want is for him to get him signed. But there's so many moving pieces there, and I suspect that Zito might, this is just a guess, but maybe Zito, especially for Reinhardt, is waiting to see what happens during the trade deadline. If we pick up a guy, I can't imagine a scenario where Zito would lose Reinhardt. I think at this point, the question is not whether or not we're going to re-sign him. I genuinely think the question is, if somebody has to go, who is it going to be? At this point, all due respect to Brandon Montour, I mean, we've got so many defensemen. There's no way you pay Montour and lose Reinhardt. So, hey, Jason, good morning. How you doing, bud? Yeah, so Lomberg is 29. Right, gotcha. I haven't seen anything, Frank, on Rodriguez or Barkov. I was going to check right before I came on, but getting Fluffy up the stairs proved to be he's hurting. He's hobbling around a little bit. So I just didn't have the time I needed to this morning. But I haven't seen, usually I'm subscribed to George like many of you are. And if he puts out an article, we usually get dinged pretty quick. So right now, I don't think we have any news there. Let's see. Bubba, yeah, I think the cap's going to go up about $2 million. So it's not a tremendous number. We've got a lot of guys to sign. Yeah, there's no way we lose Reinhardt, right? Austin says, happy to see we were able to keep our heads out there. It started getting chippy. No Kolazar, but it wouldn't have mattered with Lomberg out there. Yeah, I noticed that before the game. I was talking with Nick about it. I said, yeah, Kolazar, he's sick for that game. And, so Vegas has their reasons why they didn't play all that well yesterday. I mean, they played well the first 8 minutes. I don't want to say they didn't play well. I should walk that back. They played like it was game 5 again, the first, 8-10 minutes. And Bubba kept us in the game. And then we started skating with them, and then that was it. I mean, we just never looked back. Rosado says, according to George, Montour was close to a contract. Yeah, he said that a while ago, though. He said that with Montour and Forsling a while ago. So I don't know. Are you talking about something new, Rosado, or is that from like the 6 weeks ago? Frank, that's what I'm hoping for, is 8x8 for Reinhardt. No state taxes. He's in a perfect spot. He can stay here and win, a half dozen cups or something like that, right? Yeah. Sean, yeah, that timeout very, very early was interesting. It did not pay off for them. Oh, Rosado, you're saying that's what he said like 2 days ago? All right. So that's interesting. that we would make that we would make Montour first. We'll know then, by how much are we paying him. I still can't imagine a world where Zito would let Reinhart go. There's guys that you can move, right? There's guys that you can move. I mean, like I've said, extend Bob, move Spencer Knight. That fixes the cap issues, in my opinion, anyway. And yeah, Forsling over Montour any day, right? David, what's the deadline to re-sign Reinhardt? Well, I mean, there's a deadline that comes in terms of now he's a free agent, right? Generally speaking, I think after the trade deadline, there's like you can't sign guys. I'm not the guy to ask all the specifics there. But I think bottom line with Reinhardt is if he wants to stay, he knows he could get more money elsewhere. It's just a matter of if we're in the ballpark. I don't think he's just going to throw Zito under the bus and go somewhere else. Hey, Frank and Dustin, thank you, buddy. All right. So Frank says, how about a trade target video, Jaws? People love those. Yeah, give me through the weekend because my weekend is super busy, but I will take a look at that. And Dustin, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Says season sweep, go Cats. Yeah, we won both games. A little late to win 2 in a row against the Knights. Just don't get me started. I'm happy we won. But that could easily be, I don't want to say easily, but there's obviously a percentage chance that that's a preview of a rematch. You know what I mean? It can happen. Let's see. Bubba says defense with offense. The team is playing playoff hockey without finishing their checks. Imagine when they start finishing checks. Yep, that's exactly right, Bubba. They're playing playoff hockey, but they're not beating themselves up physically. I think we all feel like that's on purpose. Like, the guys kind of realized, okay, we can't do that all season, but we're 2 points out of first place, so we're in good shape. So Droid says you can sign players until July 1st. However, if your team is in the playoffs, you can't sign a player until you're eliminated. Right. Yeah. You're correct. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, you can sign him at any point. In other words, what I think Ghost is saying is in July 1st, now they can sign with anybody. You can still sign the guy. So, but I would shave my head twice with a dry razor if we lose Reinhardt. I just don't think Zito's going to let that happen. Sean says trade Ekblad. It's not up. Well, I shouldn't say that. Next year's contract, he has the modified no move clause. So I think he can submit a list of 12 or 16 teams that he can say no to. So at that point, Zito would have that option. It does give you some pause if he signs Forsling and Montour. That does kind of make you wonder about Ekblad and go, are we going to pay all these guys? So we'll see about that. Yeah, Dustin says Ekblad seems to be the weakest leak on the team. I mean, I hate it. I hate it for the guy, but business is business, and Ekblad is closing in on 30. Where does that sound familiar from, right? Ghost says Lomberg most likely get a contract because of Kachuk. Yeah, Lomberg's not going anywhere. You bump him up to $1 million, right? What is he going to be 30? So you give him like 3, like by $1 million, maybe 1.2. But remember, Larson's going to want a little bit more money too. So I have a feeling, guys, to be honest with you, that Zito already knows exactly how he wants it to go. You know what I mean? That's just my take. Unless something happens out of the ordinary, right? Like nobody was sitting around after the President's Trophy season thinking Kachuk was going to become available. And then all of a sudden, that happened. So barring anything shocking like that, I think Zito knows the guys he's willing to sign and move. And it's just a matter of I don't think anybody's getting moved during this season because we're in the cup. We're in the cup window now. We are definitely in win now mode as much as we're ever going to be. So chat's going a little bit fast. Want to catch up a little bit. All right, let's see. AJ, hey, good afternoon, AJ. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Darius, I no disagreement there. And yeah, Sean, Chucky looked like Chucky. He looked like Chucky last night. It's exactly right. So whether or not that was just a one-game thing and he's going to go back into his shell into the playoffs, that's fine. Either way, we're winning games. But the fact that we saw that he can look like that physically, that's good because we're 2 points out of first place. And up until 2 games ago, Chucky had 5 goals, and the last one was an empty net. So this is good news all the way around. The brother man on Balinska's extension. I kind of cracked a joke about this yesterday on the stream. I think the Balinska's extension says to me that Paul Maurice and Bill Zito have just gotten together and just their main goal is to make sure Lucas Carlson never gets a chance. I think I give up on that whole situation. I mean, but we're only giving up a goal a game, so who am I to complain, right? I think he's a good depth piece to have around as your 7th D, and I think he's a little bit of insurance. I think Josh Mahura needs a contract too. I think Mahura needs a contract too. So I wonder if there's a little bit of moving on from Mahura for Balinskis there, because I think I'm right there on Mahura needing a contract, or he could have gotten an extension. I don't remember exactly. Ghost, you think Cooley is probably retiring after this year? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he may come back again, but it's closing in on that time. But he's good and solid for us, no doubt. Ryan says, can't wait for the Panthers to come home so you can see the Kings. Yeah, Kings Panthers. That's another possible matchup, right? Sean, Mikula signed for 3 years. It's either 3 or 4. I think it's 3. So Zito already locked him up when he initially signed. So we're good there. Craig, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. Vincent says Stenlin, Gadjevich, Lomberg all have to stay. Agreed. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about Gadjevich being mad. I think he does. He plays his role. I think a lot of these guys play the role perfectly that Maurice wants. Hey, Pepper, thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you for the super chat. Says, do I think Rhino holds out for the highest offer? I think no, and I think he's already made the decision. My opinion, my gut feeling is that Reinhardt already knows if he's willing to take less money to stay. And I have a feeling the answer to that is yes. Because keep in mind, he's already had the $6.5 million a year coming in for a number of years. So for many players, that's the biggest contract they get, right? So I know it's kind of easy for me to say when you're playing around with somebody else's millions, but he's already made 6.5 for a while. I think if Zito can fit him in at 8 times 8, could he go somewhere else and get 10 and be in a different position and pay taxes and all of that? Probably. I just don't think he's going to do it. Ghost says, you think Stenlin's underperforming? I don't know about that, man. I think he's playing that line. I think he's playing that position perfectly, to be honest with you. He's not, I mean, he scored a bunch of goals in the beginning. He's not scoring now. But for what you need out of 4C, I love him. Hey, Frank. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Frank. All right. Big 5 from Frank. Thank you, sir. He says, the elephant in the room is our goaltending situation. $14 million. That's way too much. Yeah, look, I'm on record. Extend Bob for 2 years, give him an extra 2 years at 5 per, move Knight, and that gives us assets and solves our cap issues for the most part. It certainly solves them for this year. So that's I don't that's no disrespect to Spencer Knight, and I wouldn't want to do it until after this season is over because you never know if something happens and you need Knight. But we have a pipeline of goalies coming. Luongo's got that goalie excellence department. We're drafting one every year, and $4.5 million for a guy. He's just going to languish in the AHL because Bob has found the fountain of youth, man. All right, let's see. I missed a few things here. Let's see. Yeah, Vincent says Stenlin's a face-off monster. Absolutely. So Michael says, what's up, Jaws? I should do these more at noon so you can participate and not sleep. Considering the fact I got 36 people, or I might have to take your advice there. I might have to run a poll on that, but I have a feeling people would prefer noon to 8 o'clock in the morning. So what I would do then, if I did that, I would just flip things. I would film the podcast at 8 and do this at noon, which is what I ended up doing today because I couldn't take Fluffy to the river. I couldn't take him to the river today. He's limping around on his foot, so he's hurt a little bit. So Craig says, I like the plan. Yeah, and move from Knight, right? Dustin, I think we'll see. If I'm Maurice, I give Bob Colorado, especially if Barkov and Rodriguez are out. I think you give Bob Colorado, and then you play Stolars Tuesday against the Blues. This would only be Bob's third game straight. And considering he didn't take a big, heavy workload in the second and third period last night, I think you play Bob now. And then, because as it is, if you play Bob Saturday, Stolars goes Tuesday, that would give Bob Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. And that's about as long as you would want him to sit anyway. Hey, Trey, good morning, bud. How you doing, buddy? Hey, Ryan, or Vincent says, Reinhardt never signed a contract longer than 3 years. He found his footing in the last playoffs. He's staying. Yeah, I concur. I think Sam Reinhart, to me, I don't know the guy. I'm just going by my gut reaction, how I see his body language. I think he'd be happy at 8x8. Maybe you got to give him 8.5, right? After he scores 60 this year, maybe he's going to get bumped up. So, Michael says the next game I really see Stolars playing is the 15th against Anaheim. What are we on the 5th? That might be a while. I think you play. I mean, I see what you're saying because as I'm saying it, that's a long gap for Bob. And if you play him tonight, you still have 2 days off before you play St. Louis. But then what do we got after that? Let me take a look here. Let's see. So we got the Avalanche tomorrow. Then we got the Blues Tuesday, Kings Thursday, Devils Saturday, Ducks. No, Stolars is going to play before that. Stolars is going to play. I think Stolars will play Tuesday the 9th. And then you give Bob 11, 13, 15. And then, yeah, that's, but who knows? You never know with Maurice. Let me take a sip here real quick. So there's a second request for Sean. Says, can we have the reviews at 12? All right. I think considering I got 41 people in here and that's 2 requests, I think the reviews just got changed to noon. That actually works. I can make that work. What that means is if I go do the podcast when it's cold, I'll be outside like I was this morning, like 28 degrees. But we did it. Yeah, Jameson likes it. Dustin likes it. Okay. Let's see how that goes. See, I'm easy. I'm amicable, right? I'm not a hard ass like some people think. You know, I take suggestions. So we'll do it. We'll do it at noon. Oh, no. Bubba says I have morning skate. Michael, if you're interested in what happened with Stu, if you go back and to the channel and you hit the live section, find the first review that I did without him last week. And in the first 15 minutes, I explain what happened there. Yeah, I don't want to get into it over and over and over again. So I kind of did a segment on it so that when people didn't catch that and they ask, then I can just point them there. The first review that I did without Stu, within the first 10, 15 minutes, I go over it. And yeah, we'll leave it at that, but we'll leave it there. So yeah, all right. The reviews are at noon. That's good, and that'll make it easier for people to jump on. I know Nick True was going to try to make it today, but he works. God, I think he works till like 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning or something. And he was going to try to make it today, but he couldn't. But that's okay. That's okay. So Pepper, it's different, right? I kind of like this. I like this better. I honestly do, because I don't get to really engage with the chat that much during the games because we're doing the game, right? So this gives me an opportunity. Hey Frank, thank you, bud. Holy crap. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. I'm glad I shaved my head the other day. Thank you. He says we have 28 million plus 4 million of the cap going up. We trade night. That's another 4 million. That's 32 million in total. Yeah. The way I figured it out, because if you look at all the guys that we need to re-sign, like Lomberg and some of these other cats are only here for 1 year. So if you fill out the roster with minimum wage guys. Now, Frank, I heard the cap's going up 2 million, not 4. So my numbers were doing it by 2. I think they said between like 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. So we'll know that at some point. I think Zito's going to get it done. If he has to move somebody, he has to move somebody. I think we all kind of feel the same way about that. And don't forget Lundell, he's an RFA, and it's going to be really difficult. I think Lundell's going to get the same deals that Luosterainen got. Remember, we got Luosterainen, and then we gave him a 2-year, $1.5 million deal, and then he got a 2-year, $3 million deal. I think Lundell will get Luosterainen's 2 at 1.5, so that won't be too difficult. And then it's just going to be up to who wants to stay. Does OEL want to stay, or does he want to go make more money somewhere else, right? Reinhardt is staying. I'd like to hear Forsling get his contract too. And it's going to be real interesting to see what Montour gets, because are we paying him based on last year or this year? Although he is starting to look better. Somebody said early on, somebody really made a good point about Ekblad and Montour, about how in reality they probably should have been out another month to get their shot back, right? We've seen Ekblad, he's not breaking sticks. His shot's not the same. Montour is starting to look a little bit more like himself, kind of like Chucky. So the fact that these guys, and the same with Bennett too, throw Bennett into that mix, right? Let's knock on wood. Bennett has been looking better and better and better. So I think some of these guys, if you look at it, Montour, Ekblad, Bennett, Tkachuk, maybe even Luosterainen should have been healthy. But those 4 guys, when you look at it, maybe they came back a little bit early and kind of had to play themselves into shape, because each one of those guys now is starting to look a little bit more like themselves. I know Ekblad makes his mistakes and everything, but I'll say this. When he has to chase, that's the problem. I think Ekblad, if he can remold himself into a stay-at-home defenseman and stay at home and be in position, he is a good defenseman when he's starting off in good position. But when he has to chase because he's pinched, then it's not good. It's not good. Jason says Noon is much better. All right, we're good there. It's $4 million guaranteed. Hold on a second. Who said Frank? $4 million guaranteed for who? Forsling or Montour? Which one of them? Which one are we? You know what I'm asking. Which one are we talking about? Yeah, Bennett has been snipered. Bennett's been good. Taylor says she heard 4 million as well. Are we talking about Montour or Forsling? I'll wait. Mike says if Ecky's telling the truth and he really does want to stay here, he'll take a haircut. That's what this player deserves. Exactly. Yep. No, I know, right, Dustin? Yeah, his famous slap. That post was so loud, people on the stream heard it. Oh, they're saying the cap is going up 4 million. Oh, okay. That's different than 2. Okay, so then that's where, okay, that's good news for us. That's really good news. Okay. Okay, that helps. I see you guys. It's good you guys can have the time to pay attention. I'm too busy making videos. I'm too busy making videos and eBay packing and shipping, and I don't have time to look at everything. So I appreciate that. I didn't see that. That's good news for us because it was. That's a player. That's like OEL right there. That's a player. So that's really good. Um, Ollie says, "Hey Jaws, I was impressed with Lockwood's game last night. I like him. He's. I know he doesn't score, and you can only have so many guys that are fast and but he's smart. He's quick, and I'll be honest, I like him better than Cousins. And I hate bashing Cousins because I really don't want to bash Cousins because he was part of that run last year. But I like him. I mean, Cousins might. Let's put it this way: Cousins might have a little bit more wear and tear on his body. You know what I mean? And that happens to players as they get moving on there. I don't know how old he is, but Lockwood looks fresh and ready to go. Let's just put it that way. So that's good that it's 4 instead of 2. So that would make that video I did 21 million, and that's a much different number. Because if you got 21 million for those 4 guys, and you give Lundell $1.5 million, now you got 19.5 million for Reinhart, Forsling, and Montour, and we can make that work. Sure, even if you gave Reinhart 9, that would give Forsling and Montour 5 apiece. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Okay. Problem solved. I don't even think we'd have to move somebody for that, right? Yeah. Let's see. Mike says also regarding Reinhart, he already knows what it's like on the other side. Toiled in Buffalo for years. Only team that could outbid Florida is one with cap space and low expectations outside of winning culture. Perfectly said. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep. And Reinhart, Sammy's watching, so just stay, man. Right? I'll get you a puppet, or is that a detractor? Either way, Reinhart, if you want a puppet to stay, we'll get you a puppet. If you want me to promise to never get you a puppet and you'll stay, I'll do that too. I'm flexible that way, right? Bob says I'm gonna need a 1 times 32. Bubba, you ain't going anywhere. You know why we know you're not going anywhere, Bubba? Because you're married, right? And I'd like to see you go to the wife and be like, "We're leaving South Florida. Pack, we are going to Vancouver." Okay? You ain't going anywhere, Bubba. Right? Yeah, Reinhart will share with Bob. Michael says Reinhart told me he was going to take less because he loves the beach and loves scoring goals. How could you not want to play? How could you not want to play? Spread it around a little bit, spread the money around, and that's why Ekblad, every interview you see, I feel so bad. If he ever gets traded, all joking aside, if Ekblad ever gets traded, I feel bad for him just like Huberto, because every interview you see Ekblad in, doesn't matter what the context is. Since Huberto got traded, every time Ekblad's on camera, it's like, Ekblad, how did you like your game last night? It's like, I love here. I love playing here. I love it here. I want to stay. I want to be a Panther forever. It doesn't matter what the question is. That's his answer. Mike says, how'd that work for Gudis? He's wasting time in Anaheim and not from Florida, but Kilhone took the money and now he's got no shot to win again. Yeah, that's a really good point. Hey, big dog. How you doing, buddy? Trey says, Ekblad loves South Florida's gentlemen's clubs. He's not married, is he? No, he got married. Didn't he get married? Yeah, because they had a whole thing with no, somebody else got married. Or was it Ekblad's wedding? I forget. Was it Ekblad in the boot with the wheelie thing? No, it was Ekblad's wedding with Duclair, right? And he had the wheel. Oh, it was Reinhart? Okay, I forget. but one of them got married, and one of them, maybe it was Duclair, was there on the little scooter where he was pushing himself around, but he was in the wedding party. I forget I forget which way it was, but you guys will tell me. So Ekblad's married. Reinhardt got married this offseason. Right. I remember that. But I can't, whose wedding was it where Duclair was at the wedding in the thing? Trey says you're right. Married guys don't go to strip clubs. Oh, touche. Touche, Trey. Touche. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, Dustin says we don't. I haven't been to a strip club. By the way, if you haven't bought the book, there's a strip club. Well, there's kind of a strip club story in the book. I don't want to give it away, but there's a story involving a strip club in the book. I haven't been to a strip club since I was in the Air Force. Wait. Yeah. I only went to the strip club 3 times. One time the story was in the book. I went one more time with my brother Gene, and then I went to the strip club in Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska. And that was the last strip club I ever went to. And you can put A and B together. All right. That's all I should need to say about that. All right. Let's see. James has said, I'd love to see a reaction video of Ekblad trade to Winnipeg. First, he's got to unblock Zito. He's got to unblock Zito's phone number to get traded. All right. Let's see. What happened with Trey? Did Trey get disappeared? Vincent, so no, it's not a dirty book. The story, I don't want to give it away, but let's put it this way. The story, the part about the strip club is not what happened at the strip club. The part about the strip club is what I should have been doing instead of being at the strip club that brother Gene and I will regret to this day. That's the story. Yeah. Oh, Michael says USA, Sweden, or is it Sweden, Finland, or is it USA, Sweden? Right. Bubba says Russia doesn't have strip clubs. Is that true? Trey says literally my first friend. We've gone way off topic now. Trey says literally my first friend I made in Houston. The chat jumped on me. Was a dancer. You were her Lyft driver and drove her home. Fantastic. Hey, Paul, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. Good to see you. Great White. If anybody's interested in the book, if you go to any of the descriptions of any of the videos, the first line is the link to the book on Amazon. It's called Lessons in Faith and Sports. It's hardcover dust jacket. So it's a big book because I got a lot of pictures in it. So it's like 8.5 by 11. It's not a small book. And then once the season is over, once hockey season is over, I'm going to self-produce an audio version. But it won't be dry. It'll be like Jaws audio version, not like some schmuck from Fiverr reading it. It's going to be like an animated audio version. I'm going to produce that. I guess maybe I'll do it a video audio version too. I'm going to do something with the book in the summer. We'll put it that way. All right, let's see. Yeah, Mike, how about the win streak? That's correct. 6 in a row now. And to think it took all last year to get to 6 in a row. And now here we are. Can you guys hear Fluffy snoring? Hold on, I want to show you. He's running in his sleep. I rarely can catch this on camera. Where is he? There he is. There he is. There he goes. Oh, I'm so glad I got this. He's snoring, and then he'll start kicking those legs. Yeah. I wonder what they do in their sleep, man. Right? Sometimes he'll howl too. It's a really low howl too. I'll be sitting here and you just hear woo, and you know he's howling in his sleep. That's good. I loaded him up on CBD because he's limping around, so he'll be sleeping all day. Holy crap, Paul! What did I mean? Oh my God, bro! I'm busy showing Fluffy. Paul is handing out $100 bills. Holy crap! Thank you, brother. Oh my gosh! You just wow. Jesus, holy! Thank you, my friend. Holy crap. Merry, Merry, Merry New Year, Paul. Thank you, brother. Oh my God. Dang. Yeah, I think I'm doing the reviews live at noon from now on. Right? Who knew? Who knew, man? Damn, Paul. Thank you, brother. Holy crap. Yeah, Paul's paying for Rhino. Paul, literally, when I'm done here, I'm doing my pack and ship and I'm going and buying him an extra bottle of CBD. So that's literally where the money is going to go. Literally. Oh, sorry. I keep saying literally. So, Bubba, I couldn't see it, man. Oh, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that, brother. I had to show Fluffy, right? Come on. Oh my God. And I'm seeing it now. Josh, shut up. You got a donation. Wait, what? Hey, Great White. Thank you, brother. All right. Thank you, Great White. Thank you, bud. Much, much, much appreciated. All right. He says, I'll give you half now for the book. Thank you, bud. Yeah, Sean, no joke, right? the reviews will always be at noon. Paul just re-signed Nick Lad. Thank you, guys. Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, now I can pay Reinhardt, right? Oh man, I was, my mom was, I appreciate that. We'll just call you did. I appreciate that. Um, my mom has been coming on the streams. Like we call her grandma, but because it's Kyle's grandma. But during the beginning of the season, my dad couldn't get the feed. And I'm like, just come on the stream. So they've been listening on the streams. And my mom and I are talking back and forth. And there's a lot of context to this in the book. I promise I'm not trying to sell the book. It's just when I get to talking, all the stories are in the book. But we're sitting there talking last night off camera on a text, and we're just kind of like knowing what me and my mother know about my childhood and everything like that. We're kind of like, can you believe this is what I ended up doing? And it's like, yeah, they called me screen test. I don't want to give away because there's a story about that, but they called me Screen Test. My nickname when I was a kid was Screen Test because I would always watch stuff on TV and then I'd run into the room when new people were at the house and I'd reenact what I saw on TV. And my dad would be like, "Oh, here comes Screen Test again." So they're not surprised that I ended up yapping on camera for a living, right? All right, let's see. Frank says, "Oh yeah, you talk." Oh, Maurice has a lifetime extension. Yeah, no joke about that. Bubba says, "Not going to lie, I see Maurice being the coach of the team for the next 5 years, and the team, unless the team falls off the rails." To be honest with you, as long as Barkov and Kachuk are on the team, I think Maurice is going to be here a while. You know what I mean? I don't see him going anywhere. Oh, thank you, Pepper. All right. Towards Fluffy's CBD. Much appreciated. Thank you. Really appreciate that. That's the true story because it normally ships on a Monday, but Monday was New Year, so it shipped on Tuesday. So it's not going to be here Monday, and he's hurt. So I ran out this morning. I gave him like a whole bunch more. So I literally have to go in town and buy more. So it's genuinely appreciated. He's I'm smiling. I'm let's put it this way. I'm happy and blessed that at this age I have them here with me every day and they can still get around and get to the river and all of that. And he's a 10.5-year-old St. Bernard. And if you look up life expectancy of St. Bernards, he's doing ridiculously obscenely well for his age. So we'll leave it at that. Can we get Fluffy into THC? Let me tell you what, if I give him enough, I've had to give him CBD plenty of times on the stream because he gets himself all wound up with all the action. And what I do is I take a piece of we've got a special bread for them, and I soak it into CBD and I give it that. And then within 10 minutes, I mean, out like a light. So that's kind of where he is right now. Yeah, it's better for him. I mean, he's on all sorts of supplements and whatnot, but I won't give them like the vet will give you like a narcotic kind of pain reliever and all of that. I won't do that unless it's like with Sonia in her last week. That's what we did. She had cancer in her back, and in the last week was tough. But other than that, they're as natural as they possibly can be. A flying fluffy strain. Yeah, this is the dog portion of the review. I do this on the podcast too, usually at the start of the podcast. So we get 2 points. We should talk about the game here real quick before I get ready to go. Has anybody, hopefully, Barkov, Rodriguez are okay. Now, I talked about this a little bit on the podcast. We'll talk about it here a little bit. This is my theory. If Rodriguez is out for any length of time, because I'm a little bit concerned that he might have broke something like Luosterainen did, because it was kind of the same exact thing. Frank, holy crap. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. All right. So we'll pause my story and we'll talk about what Frank is asking here. He says, here's a hot topic for you, Josh. If Mitch Marner is available, would you try to bring him in and play with Chucky? They're actually good friends. I mean, if you're talking about as a free agent or you're talking about as a trade, let's put it this way. The Leafs are not trading anybody to us, right? I mean, I can't imagine a scenario where they would. I thought Nylander was the guy that they were talking about trading anyway. I mean, we're only short the one top 9 spot. I don't know if I would, to be honest with you, I don't know if I would want anybody from Toronto, to be honest. No disrespect to any Leafs fans that are watching, right? But I don't know that I would be interested in that. Holy crap, Bubba. All right. This is incredible. I should have been doing this all along. Stu's been costing me money. I'm joking. I'm sorry. It has to come out sideways every once in a while. Thank you, Bubba. I really appreciate that. He says, fine, I'll donate a portion of my $10 million contract. Yeah, I think Nylander is a free agent after this year. So what I was saying was if Rodriguez is hurt for a long term, let's say he broke something and he's out a month, 6 weeks. My idea would be to put Luosterainen in Rodriguez's spot. And then at that point, I would call up Sordiff and put him in Luosterainen's spot and go Sordiff, Lundell, I guess Lomberg, unless you're going to give Cousins his job back. That's what I would do if Rodriguez is out for a while, because I think Luosterainen can serve that role pretty well. And then at that point, I mean, you have to bring up one of those kids at some point if we end up down a guy, in my opinion. You never know what Paul is going to do. I'm still harping on that. Paul told us they were going to play 100 games. Got me all excited. We were going to get to watch the kid develop a little bit, either one of them. And I know they're doing well in the AHL, developing chemistry and all of that. And I don't disagree that they should. But if we get injured, I mean, remember last year, not that it helped a lot, but remember we at least had Denisenko when Chucky got hurt against Vegas. And that game 5, that 5th game, I mean, I'm not saying Denisenko looked good, but you could tell he had the freshest legs on the team, right? He didn't do much with them. He was skating around all over the place, but you could tell his legs were at least fresh. That's for sure. Sean, is that official or are you guessing? Yeah, Sean says Barkey's going to be fine. Just have the cage for the next game, and then he says Erod's going to be out at least weeks. Have you heard something while we've been on, or are you guessing? Okay, I'm hoping I hope not with Rodriguez, but the fact that he came back, tested it, and couldn't come back. We looked. I mean, Kyle and I watched, and it looks like he got hit on the shin pretty good. So that's tough. Dustin says people on Facebook were debating Nylander over Rhino. I'll take Rhino. Yeah. You take the guy that you already have chemistry with. I understand in years past, and some Panther fans have moved past this and some haven't. In the years past, we would look at every single free agent like, ooh, because we didn't have, right? it wasn't that we had one hole in the top 9. We had 8 holes in the top 9. You know what I mean? And as we've gotten better now, I think over the years we got so used to when a free agent or a trade target came available, we were like, "Oh, he'd be good. He'd be good." And I think it's taken a while for the fan base to kind of realize, no, we're good. We're the good guys now. We're the good team that has all the good players. It doesn't really need so many extra guys. It's taken us a while for that to sink in, but that's the reality we're in right now. And enjoy it, Panther fans, because if you've been watching this channel long enough, I always say there was legitimate hardcore arguments on Twitter of whether or not Seth Griffith was a viable top line player. And there was people on both sides. And that happened. And I'm happy that's not happening anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, Frank. I was wondering, it was hard to tell where the elbow went. Kyle kind of thinks it went into maybe like under his eye, but I wonder if he got grazed in the jaw and then went that way. I kind of agree with Frank there, right? Yeah, Michael, he got hit in the side of the shin where the padding isn't. Yeah. Um, Panthers head coach Maurice was asked if he had any update on Barco Rodriguez. We'll get that one for you tomorrow. They get looked at by somebody smarter than me. Yeah. Both players will be reevaluated on Friday morning in Vegas where the team remained. Okay. That's good. I don't know, Mike. I think if he had a broken nose, he would have come back. Something, it was weird because, he was holding his face and then like 3 or 4 minutes later, he was still on the bench like this. So for him to be holding that long, like if it was a cut, you would have thought you would have seen a bunch of blood or they would have taken him back. And so I don't know. Hopefully hopefully he's okay. I think if it was just a cut, Maurice would have said it was just like a cut. Vincent thinks it looks like an eye. Yeah. Hopefully he didn't like break like a like an orbital bone, right? That could be a problem. He'd have to wait for the swelling to go down and then put him in a cage. But that's not something I thought of until right now. These bones under here, that could actually be what it got was his orbital bone. Hopefully not. That's not an injury you hear about a lot, in sports. So Fluffy got up. He's moving around. Maybe he bit his tongue. Yeesh. Ow. That would suck. Let me see. Trey says, if Maurice was to come out and say it's a cut after the docs take a look and it's a broken orbital, we would crucify Maurice. That's a good point. All right, everybody. I got to roll. I got to get moving. I appreciate, the hat is off to everybody. This was fantastic. The reviews are at noon from now on. You convinced me. You talked me into it. You really had to twist my arm. This was good. This worked out perfectly. And then I'll do the podcast earlier. So it's possible that might mean the podcast to be out earlier, but we'll have to see. So Sean says broken orbital day to day. Yeah, just put a cage on, right? Easy for us to say, right? All right, everybody. I appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the super chats. Been absolutely a blast. Podcast should be out within an hour. I already recorded it. I just got to finish uploading it. Colin and I will be live tomorrow, half hour before the Panther game. Then we're streaming on the football channel. We're streaming Texans, Colts. Sunday night, I know we're streaming Dolphins, Bills. I think what we might do Sunday, the 1 o'clock games, I think we might do Red Zone. We might stream the Red Zone for the 1 o'clock games on Sunday because there's not one that's like, ooh, that's the one we want to watch. I don't think. So I think we might stream Red Zone. I appreciate all of the comments, guys. Much appreciated. And then tomorrow, Colorado. It don't get any easier, guys. Don't get any easier. All right. Appreciate all the support. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay out of trouble. It's Friday night. Try to stay away from the aliens in Miami if you guys can.